I'm sure the video from last week for the Torah Chat Points was an eye-opener for many of you. Some of you have not connected the fivefold ministry back to Moses or other patriarchs that are in the Bible. Especially some of us are taught just to kind of focus on the New Testament and that you don't really have to go into the Old Testament. What Paul and many other apostles and disciples, Stephen and Peter, all were teaching from, Yeshua himself, was the Tanakh. Welcome to Reconcile the Kingdom, where we're working towards becoming a harmony of the whole word of truth. My name is Patrice Robinson, and I appreciate you coming by on today. So we're going to go over the significant events in chapters 10 through 12 of the book of Leviticus. Chapter 10. This chapter is famous because this is the chapter that goes over Aaron's two sons who offered strange fire up on the altar of incense. And the fire came from Yehovah, which ended the life of Nadab and Abihu. Aaron and the other sons were told not to mourn them, or they will find the same fate. We do not have a definite reason of what made it strange. Was it the time? Was it the mixture? Or were they under the influence? However, we do have Yehovah speaking to Aaron, not to Moses, but to Aaron, of them not drinking wine or strong drink while they're doing the work in the tabernacle. This incident stirred up fear among the priests. They had the fear of Yehovah, so this incident really frightened them. It made them so frightened that they was afraid of making any mistakes. So this also caused the other two sons to neglect eating the sin offering that they were supposed to because they were fearful of making a mistake, which Moses talked to them and he addressed that, and he understood that what was going on, so they got that corrected. Chapter 11. Here we have Yehovah educating Moses and Aaron on a healthy diet for his people. He cares about what we put in our body. I created a video with this subject related to Peter's vision. I will leave a card up top. Yehovah was very specific about the animals. Now, these animals had to have the pointed hoof, cloven footed, and chew the cud among all the beasts for them to be able to eat it. Because the ones that you could not eat, they was chewing the cud, had a divided hoof like a camel, because it chewed the cud, but it did not have a divided hoof. So a camel is an example of an animal that is unclean for them to eat. This chapter continues to teach the difference of clean and unclean. Chapter 12. This chapter is focused on a woman when she is on her nada, which what we would call today menstrual cycle, and giving birth and the instructions of becoming clean. Now, there's a different process for when a woman gives birth to a male or a female in regards of the day of purification. When a woman hears unclean, they become offended by Yehovah saying these things. And remember, Yehovah is very specific. He's concerned about germs that can come from that, and other things that can develop from a woman bleeding and people interacting with that. He did not only address the women. Remember this, you go into the book of Leviticus, he addressed the one being unclean and a man being unclean. So just continue on. So he addressed both genders. So today's focus is clean and unclean. I can go on about the difference from then and today when it comes to regarding the products, the phenol products, and how the nada is nothing that a woman should be ashamed of, that a woman should not be embarrassed, because this is the natural process of the body that Yehovah himself had designed. I want to take the time out to talk about the famous story of the woman with the issue of blood. You all know this story. It's found 3 out of 4 of the Gospels. You can find it in Matthew chapter 9, verse 20 through 22, Mark chapter 5, 25 to 34, Luke chapter 8, 43 through 48. So this woman remained unclean due to the struggle of whatever medical condition that she was dealing with. She was left on her to die for 12 years, which made her weak, made her anemic, and who knows what else was going on in her body. She was not allowed to touch anyone in her community, or they themselves would be unclean until evening. However, she pressed herself through the crowd to touch Yeshua's tzitzit, not his robe, as most Christians are taught. And we will go more in detail what tzitzits are, because there is a commandment about wearing those, and you will find Yeshua wearing those, because the wings of his garments was able to heal. So it's studying what those wings are that you would get the understanding that it was not the hem of his, per se, garment. The power went out of him, went into her based on her faith. She heard the stories about the prophet that was coming to town, and she knew not only was he a prophet, but he also was a healer, a man of Yehovah. So she knew this was her only chance, so she took it. I mean, I would have took it too. This is the healing power that many of us need to witness and pray for on today. Some of us don't see all of that. As always, man does not live by bread alone, but every word that proceeded out of the mouth of Yehovah. Join me on Saturday at 10 o'clock a.m. as we continue our journey through the Kingdom of Covenants, and I will see you next Tuesday as we continue through the book of Leviticus as we go through chapters 13 through 15. Have a blessed rest of the week, and thank you for stopping by.